Hello, am I audible, guys? Yep. So, so in the last session, we've discussed many things, right? So what is mean by law, and what are the sources of law? These and all we've discussed in all the previous four classes, and today is our fifth class, right? So this is the fifth session, and here now before going into our today's topic, we'll just revise a few things which we discussed yesterday earlier. Okay, yesterday we've discussed a few topics in the sources of law, and the previous four classes also we've discussed many topics, right? So we'll discuss about that, right? We'll revise a bit. Okay. So first, I want to ask you one question. What is mean by law? Anyone? Anyone? What is mean by law? Can anyone tell me what is mean by law? Am I audible? Yes. Can anyone tell me what is mean by law? Yes, absolutely. Law means it is a solution for a problem. So we have discussed what is mean by law, and how is law, how did how what is the purpose, or what is the source of taking the law, or making a law in our India? What are the sources of law? So we've discussed those things also. So what are the sources of law? There are three sources of law, right? Three or four? Three or four? It's three, my dear students. Yes, it's three. So there are three sources of law, and what are the three sources? One is customs, and two is judicial precedent, and three is legislation, right? Legislation. So what is meant by custom? Customs are nothing but these are the these are the things, or these are the decisions, or these are the things which the lawmakers take from the previously happened situations, right? It came into force long ago, but basing upon that situation and basing upon that solution, they interpret now also. They take it now in making law also, right? That is what we have discussed yesterday. What is meant by custom, and how do the lawmakers take customs into consideration while making law as a source, right? The second one is judicial president, I guess, right? Judicial president or not? Yes, it is judicial president. So, what is meant by judicial president, my dear students? Judicial president, lawmakers, they interpret or they make the laws by taking previous judgments which have taken place in the court, right? In the court. So, basing upon those situations, lawmakers, they take it into consideration and make the law, and those type of law, or those are type of sources of law, are called as judicial precedent. That is what we've discussed in the earlier session, and we've also started a third topic, third source of making law, that is called as legislation, right? That is called as legislation. And can anyone tell me what is meant by legislation, and how the law is made by way of legislation? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah. So if at all you want to make a state act, to whom the power is made? Power is given. It is given to. It is given to whom? It is given to the state legislature. Sir, if at all you want to make central acts, okay. If at all you want to make central acts, the power is given to whom to make central law? It is given to Parliament. It is given to Parliament. So this, this legislation, the power to make law is given to the Parliament, if at all it is a central act, and the power to make a law is given to the state legislature, if at all you want to make a state act. That is what we have discussed earlier, right? So we've also discussed about the procedure of making law also. Yes, yep. We have also discussed the procedure also, I guess. Anyone? Yeah. So what is the procedure for making a law is, the ministry which is concerned, what they do is they pass a bill to the parliament. I mean, there are two houses in the parliament. One is Lok Sabha and another Rajya Sabha, and then this bill shall be provide I mean shall be given, also shall be read to the people of normal people and also the experts as well. So people by giving their reviews, and experts also by giving their suggestions and reviews, after taking these two as a consideration, parliament, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, what they do is they vote based upon the situation, and if at all the voting is successful, it goes to the president, and if at all president accepts it, it becomes an act. And once this act, it goes into the official gazette, then the official gazette, after going into the official gazette, it shall be passed to all the throughout the country, so that each and every state would follow those acts, would follow those laws. Did you get my point? So these were the things which we discussed yesterday. And also, see, in order to become a bill, there is a big procedure which I have discussed yesterday. What is a big procedure, my dear students? What is a big procedure? See, this bill, to become an act, we have discussed earlier yesterday. We've also discussed the bill before becoming a bill. The bill shall become as a drafted bill. After becoming a drafted bill, it shall become a bill. After becoming a bill, it shall become an act. That is what we have discussed, right? So, before becoming a bill, what is the procedure? What is the procedure for making a bill? For making a bill, let's rush into that topic. See, where did we discuss? Yeah. See, this is what the point is. Okay, this is what the point we discussed earlier. So first, the concerned ministry, what they do, they pass when they show their concerned interest to the Ministry of Law and Justice. That also the legislative department, the legislative department. So this department, what they do is, if at all it accepts, then it becomes a drafted bill. If at all it accepts, it becomes a drafted bill. Once a drafted bill is accepted, then it shall be given to public domain, and 30 days will be provided to the public. And within this 30 days, public domain has to provide feedback based upon that, and based upon that feedback, this concerned ministry shall also go to the Ministry of Laws and Justice for advice. After taking this and this into consideration, it goes to the cabinet for the approval. And once it is approved by the cabinet, it becomes a bill. It becomes a bill. This is the entire procedure of making law. Of making law. Are you satisfied with the topic which I discussed now? Are you okay with it? Done? Damn sure? Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll discuss about the remaining topics which we have to discuss now. Okay, so we have discussed about the legislative process in India, and we've also discussed about assent of bills. Now, what are we going to discuss now is we are going to discuss about different types of bill. See, as I told you earlier, that bill shall be passed, and before becoming a bill, it shall become a drafted bill, and this drafted bill, only after the approval, it becomes a approval of a cabinet, it becomes a bill, right? So how many types of bills are there? How many types of bills are there? There are 4 types of bills, my dear students. So 4 types of bills. One type of bill is called as ordinary bill, and the second type of bill is called as money bill, and the third type of bill is called as finance bill, and the fourth type of bill is called as constitutional amendment. So, are you okay with it? Point number 1 is ordinary bill, point number 2 is money bill, point number 3 is finance bill, point number 4 is constitutional amendment bill. Constitutional amendment. Okay, you're okay with that? So, what is meant by ordinary bill, and what is meant by money bill, what is meant by finance bill, and what is meant by constitutional amendment bill? Can anyone give me a brief understanding that whether you know about these bills or not? Okay, candidates, students, did you ever hear about money bill or the finance bill or or the ordinary bill? Anyone? Anyone? So, no problem. Now, there are, as I've told you now, there are four types of bill, right? So, first one is ordinary bill, and this ordinary bill is nothing but, it is nothing but if a bill is relating to the matters other than finance, any matter which is dealing with other than finance, the matters other than finance, it's called as ordinary bill. It's called as ordinary bill. If the matters of finance, if the matters of finances bill, then it shall be called as money bill. It shall be called as money bill. See, I told you yesterday, right? In the last class, that see, this bill, before becoming a bill, it shall be called as a drafted bill, and after the drafted bill being approved, it shall be called as a bill. So this bill, which is presented in this parliament, is of four types. One is ordinary bill, the second one is money bill, and the third one is, my dear friends, what is the third one? It is finance bill, and the fourth and last type of bill is what? See, let's see that is what? Constitutional amendment bill is constitutional amendment bill. So what is meant by ordinary bill? What is meant by money bill? What is meant by finance bill? And what is meant by constitutional amendment bill? What are these four types of bills called? What is meant by a bill? We have discussed. But what are the types of bill we are going to discuss now? And in that four types of bill, we are going to discuss about the ordinary bill. What is meant by ordinary bill, my dear students? Ordinary bill is nothing but if at all a bill discusses about the matters other than finance, then it is called as ordinary bill. If at all a bill discusses about a finance, then it is called as money bill. If at all a bill discusses about a finance but other than money bill, then it is called as finance bill. If at all a bill discusses not about the ordinary bill, not about the money bill, not about the finance bill, but only about the constitutional rights. It is what is meant by constitutional rights. What are the constitutional rights, and what are the fundamental rights? And all this we'll be discussing in next sessions. But now, as of now, you already know about constitutional rights. We already know about fundamental rights, I guess. So, if at all any amendment, if at all any bill is passed based upon amendment of constitution, see, that bill is called as constitutional amendment bill. Are you okay with it? So now, what we'll do is we'll analyze a bit deeper what is meant by money bill. Ordinary bill, you already know. What I said is except a finance bill. Other than a finance bill, it is called as ordinary. Other than finance bill, but it is not even money bill, then it is called as finance bill. Did you get my point? Other than money bill, if at all it is a finance, other than money bill, then it is called as finance bill. If at all it is a finance bill, then it is called as a money bill. That is what we have discussed now. So, in depth, if at all we want to know in-depth analysis of what is meant by money bill, we'll just read this point. Okay, article number 110. Article number says that money bill involves three types of things. I just said you that money bill is a finance matter. It is nothing but the matters. If at all it discusses about finance, then it is money bill, right? Then it is money bill. But what type in money bill? What type of finance matters does it involve, or does it deal with? That is what we are going to discuss now. Point number one: money bills should be one which involves any of the 3 months. Point number one: see, if at all we want money, If at all we want money by a union government, then that type of bill which is passed in a parliament is called as money bill. If at all we want to give any payment, okay, or we want to withdraw from consolidated fund of India or contingency fund of India, but if at all we want to borrow, pass a bill called as money bill. And if at all we want to give payment or we want to withdraw some amount from our consolidated fund of India, then also we have to pass a bill called as. The third type of discussion is imposition or abolition or remission or alteration or regulation of any tax. Of any tax. Those types of bills which are discussing about these three things is called as bill. So what we discuss now, my dear students, is point number one. Point number one is one ordinary bill. The second one is money bill, and the third one is finance bill, right? Ordinary bill is nothing but it is a bill which discusses about other matters other than finance. Other than finance. If at all a money bill means a bill which discusses about finance, matters of finance, but what? But what? But what? But these three things. What? One, abolition or imposition or anything of tax. Okay, or anything of tax, or what? Or borrowing of funds or withdrawal or payment to payment from consolidated funds of India. If at all matters related to finance are happening, and those matters which are related to these three things, one is abolition or imposition or of a tax or borrowing funds or withdrawal or payment from the consolidated funds of India, then those matters of finance are called as, are to be placed in a parliament. That bill is called as money bill. Money bill. And not about these matters, other than money bill, other than money bill, but 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 what, my dear students? But it discusses about matters of then that type of bill is called as finance bill. So did you get my point? So now what are we going to discuss now is, if at all we want to pass a money bill, in the parliament, how can we pass a money bill in the parliament? How can we pass money bill in the parliament? And how can we pass other bills in the parliament? How can this happen? How can this happen? Point number one is, if at all we want to pass money bill, money bill, first of all, we've discussed that money bill shall be introduced, any bill shall be introduced directly in the parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But if at all a bill is passed in the parliament and that bill is a money bill, then how it shall be passed? Not in both the houses, but it shall be passed in the Lok Sabha first. And after the reading happens in the Lok Sabha, then it shall be taken to Rajya Sabha for what? For recommendations. See, let's go to that point once. So money bill, if at all you want to pass money bill in the parliament, what is the procedure which you have to follow is, point number one, money bill shall not be passed directly to the Rajya Sabha. First it shall be passed in the Lok Sabha, and after it is passed in the Lok Sabha, it shall be taken to the Rajya Sabha for what? For recommendations. For what, my dear students? For recommendations. Then Rajya Sabha within 14 days shall return the bill to Lok Sabha with its recommendations. If Lok Sabha accepts any of the recommendations, bill is deemed to passed with amendments or bill not returned within 14 days, then the bill shall be deemed to be passed by both the houses. If at all Rajya Sabha does not give any recommendations to the Lok Sabha, what happens? Then it shall be deemed, shall be assumed that the bill is passed in the Rajya Sabha and Rajya Sabha also accepted it. What is that? How can Rajya Sabha accept? See, if at all Rajya Sabha doesn't accept also, it has to tell that it is not accepted. If at all it doesn't tell that it is not happy with the bill, with the money bill, then he have to intimate to the Lok Sabha that I am not satisfied with the bill which is passed by you. So first, when it is passed in the Lok Sabha, after Lok Sabha is okay, then it shall be taken to the Rajya Sabha. And if at all Rajya Sabha is not okay, it have to give recommendations directly to the Lok Sabha that I am not satisfied. If at all Rajya Sabha does not tell within 14 days, then what happens? Then what happens is it shall be deemed to be accepted by both the houses. It shall be deemed to be accepted by both the houses. You get my point? See, originally by both, if not returned within 14 days, then the bill shall be deemed to be passed by the both the houses in form in which it is passed originally by the Lok Sabha without any amendments. Without any amendments. Am I okay? Is this okay? Are you getting my point? So, you get my point, my dear students? So, are you okay with this? So, point number one, there are four types of bills. And if at all you want to pass a money bill, what is the procedure of passing a money bill? Directly, you should not pass it to the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Rather, first it have to be taken to Lok Sabha, and if at all Lok Sabha accepts with it shall be taken to Rajya Sabha. And if Rajya Sabha is not okay with it have to intimate within 14 days that this have to be changed. And if at all Rajya Sabha doesn't give any of the intimations or any of the recommendations within 14 days, then what happens? Then it shall be deemed to be passed by the Rajya Sabha also. It shall be deemed that Rajya Sabha is also okay with it. Did you get my point? Are you okay with it? Okay. So now just have a small reading. If at all you have any doubts, please let me know what your doubts. Okay. So did you go through with this topic? Nice. So just have a small note about this also. I told you that there are four types of bills, right? So okay, these are the four types of bills. Please make note of it also. Okay, make a note of it also. Okay, you note this point, my dear students. Okay, now what we'll do is there is a last topic, in this session, in this unit also. Let's go to that and we'll conclude the session as well. Okay, last topic is joint sitting of both the houses in certain cases, other than a money bill. Other than a money bill. See, money bill, what we discussed in the money bill is first it have to be taken to Lok Sabha, okay, and after Lok Sabha is satisfied, Lok Sabha places it to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha has to give recommendations within the period of 14 days, right? This is what we discussed now. So now what we are going to discuss is other than a money bill, joint sitting, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. There will be discussion between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha other than money bill. If it is a matters relating to other than money bill. So when will it happen and everything we'll be discussing now. Just have we'll just understand it step by step, point by point. Okay, point number one. If after a bill is passed by one of the houses and transmitted to the other, then the bill is rejected by the other house. If Lok Sabha, if it is okay with the Lok Sabha and if it gives to Rajya Sabha and Rajya Sabha is not okay with it, point number two, the house has finally disregarded as amendments to be made in the bill. So if the house says that there have to be change in the bill. So if houses say that we are not we will not accept this as the bill have to be changed. If at all bill is disregarded, then or more than 6 months have been elapsed from the receipt of the bill by other house. See from this house it transferred to another house. And from the another house, the reply has to be given, right? The reply is not given for more than 6 months. Wow. The reply is not given for more than 6 months. Then what happens? If any of the following conditions happens, okay, if any of the following conditions takes place, then president, what will the president do? Is president will pass a notification or a message. Okay, a notification or a message that to summon a joint sitting for the purpose of deliberating and voting. So you guys, you have one bill, one house is accepting and other house is not accepting. One house is okay with it, another house is disregarding it. One house is okay and another house is did not give reply for a period of 6 months. If any of the three things happens, then president will pass a notification or pass a message that they sit in a joint sitting and take a voting based upon it. That's right. Very nice, right? Very cool, right? Now, at the joint meeting summoned by the president, the bill will be passed by majority of the total number of members of the house present and voting will be happen. And if it was the voting happens, the majority wins, right? The majority wins. A joint sitting is permitted even where the Lok Sabha is dissolved subsequent to the president notifying is summon a joint sitting of the houses. I can tell you one thing, my dear students. Point number one is, normally joint sitting. Normally first, if at all a bill want to be placed in our parliament, it have to be taken to Lok Sabha, and Lok Sabha, after it is okay with it, it shall pass to the Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha has to give recommendations if it is a money bill, right, within a period of 14 days. Right. So if at all it is not a money bill, if at all it is a bill which is other than money bill, that is it is any of these three. If it is any of these three, maybe this or this or this. Okay, any of these three, then what happens? Then what happens is, if at all a bill has been rejected by the other house, or if the bill is accepted but disregarded by the other house, or the other house is not accepted within the period of 6 months, then what happens? Then what happens is it shall be taken to president. Then president what he says is you don't do too many overactions. Okay, so you both the houses you have to sit together and you have to discuss together and you have to give voting together. And what we'll do is we'll take the majority of the votes. We'll take what are the majority, and then after the majority of the votes taken place, then that shall be taken to. If it is okay, then it shall be taken to president. With it. This is nothing but this topic already we have discussed, right? This topic already we have discussed long ago, yesterday, I guess. The same procedure. Okay, guys, are you okay with it? Are you okay with it? So I think we have completed unit 2 of our Constitution of India, the brief explanation of what is meant by law and how are the sources of how are the law, how are is law made. These are the things we have discussed now, and we'll legislation. I'll just conclude the session by discussing about a small topic called as legislation. Types of legislation we've already discussed. Okay, there are two types of legislation. One is primary legislation, and another one is subordinate legislation. The primary legislation means, because the act is made in parliament, then it is, sorry, if at all the act want to be made is a central act, then it shall be passed in the parliament. If at all the act may be made is a state act, then it have to be passed in the state legislature. That is what we have discussed about the primary legislation. Now we are going to discuss about the subordinate legislation, which will be concluded just within a span of 2 or 3 minutes. Just have a small concentration, just of 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, legislation which is made by authority which is subordinate to the supreme or sovereign authority, which is subordinate to this primary legislation, is called as subordinate legislation. So this subordinate legislation is of two types. One is local laws and other one is laws made by executive. Local laws in the sense, panchayats, municipalities, etc., etc., etc. See, before, in India, local bodies like panchayats and municipal corporations have been recognized by a constitution through 73 and 74 constitutional amendments. The rules, bylaws enacted by them are examples of laws, local laws. Before Article number 7, before 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments, there was no municipal and panchayats. They used to not treat as a subordinate. Okay, subordinate. How can you say that, sir? Can you give me a small example? Examples of it are many. Before giving an example, just go through this once. I'll give an example. Okay, just go through these ones. I can give you an example of the fine system of traffic. The fine system of traffic, right? See, traffic fines, are distinguished based upon place to place, right? Based upon place to place. Maharashtra fine, Maharashtra fine system is a different way. But whereas Andhra, Telangana, fines, vehicles fines is different. So who decides this is the local laws, local law. It distinguishes from place to place, right? From place to place, state to state, and from I can tell you as place to place. This law are called as local law, and laws made by executive. Laws are supposed to be enacted by sovereignty by vested in one authority, or it may be distributed among the various organs of the state. In most of the modern states, sovereignty is generally divided among the three organs. One is legislature, the second one is executive, and the third one is judiciary of the state, based upon the state judiciary, based upon the state legislature, and based upon the state executive. So these are the subordinate legislatures and legislations, and we can before concluding, I'll just revise once and we'll conclude the session. Point number 1, law means a solution for a problem. Point number 2, there are three types of solutions. There are three types of sources for making law. So what are the three types of sources? One is customs, the second one is judicial precedent, and third one is legislation. Legislation means the laws which are made, the power which is given to make a law. In India, the power to make law is given to Parliament, and the power to make state act is given to state law, state acts, state legislature. Okay, the entire process we have discussed. Okay, the bill and the types of bills. Please go through those things. Okay, please go through those things. One is ordinary bill. Ordinary bill means discusses about the matters other than finance. Okay, if at all any bill which discusses about the matters of finance, then it can be called as a money bill. If at all a bill discusses about the matters of finance, but is other than a money bill, then it is called as a finance bill. And if at all there shall be amendment in constitution, then it is called as constitutional bill. These are the four types of bills. And if at all money bill is placed in the parliament, then first it has to be taken to Lok Sabha. After Lok Sabha, it has to be taken to the Rajya Sabha. And Rajya Sabha, it shall be given 14 days for giving its recommendations. And within a period of 14 days, it has to give its recommendations to the Lok Sabha. And if Lok Sabha does not take, or if Lok Sabha doesn't receive recommendations within a period of 14 days, then what happens? It shall be deemed to be accepted by both the houses. Then it becomes a law, right? which is based upon Parliament. And what we discussed, and the bill which is other than a money bill. If at all it is a bill other than a money bill, then if at all a bill is given by one of the houses to another houses, another house is rejected or they are disregarded, or other houses took it but it does not give response within a period of 6 months, then what happens is both the houses shall be sit together and shall be taken into a joint sitting by the president, and president shall tell them to vote. Okay, and voting shall be conducted, and based upon that it shall be taken into consideration. That is what we have discussed. It is other than a money bill. Any doubts, guys? So with this, I think you guys have understood this. So with the remaining topics and the remaining or in-depth analysis of law, we are now just in the introduction. I think you guys have a very brief understanding, got a brief understanding of law and sources of law. Okay, so if at all you want to understand in-depth analysis, okay, please be regular, please be dedicated based upon the topics, and please revise each and every day. Take care, bye bye, have a nice day, all the best. Bye.